Thank you for staying with us. Despite the intervention from the Supreme Court and the Central Bank of Nigeria over the release of the old Naira notes, it still remains difficult for many Nigerians to get cash to spend. In response to this, the Nigeria Labour Congress has directed public sector workers in the country to commence an indefinite strike from Wednesday next week. At a news conference in Abuja, NLC President Joe Ajaero directed the affiliate unions constituting the Nigeria Labour Congress to be on standby for picketing exercises across all branches of the Central Bank of Nigeria nationwide. This directive follows the expiration of the one-week ultimatum given by the Congress last week. The NLC President also said this decision to picket the CBN branches became necessary as the federal government and the CBN have not shown any commitment to addressing the situation.
From this week, from Friday, there will be mobilization of all state councils through a NEC meeting. All unions have already been directed to mobilize all their organs and their branches by Wednesday next week. All central bank from the CBN headquarters will be shut till further notice. Workers are directed to stay at home and join in the picketing exercise.
Joining us to discuss this issue is an economy and policy analyst, Mayokun Ilu. Good morning. It's good to have you on the program once again.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Good morning.
Right.
Great. Good morning.
Now, we see the NLC coming to weigh into this matter of the scarcity of cash and called for a nationwide strike. But just yesterday, they met with the CBN. Is that some level of commitment coming from the CBN now? Because what the NLC had said was that it's not seeing that commitment from the government to respond to these matters of scarcity of the cash and as well as scarcity of fuel. But with the meeting yesterday, where the CBN has said that it has pushed out about 20 billion naira back into the system, do you see that as any form of commitment?
Well, it's a little too late for me. Too late in the day, but better late than never still. I don't think the CBN did enough to assuage the feelings of Nigeria over this ill-conceived, ill-executed Naira redesign policy. At this stage and time of civilization, things should be done, learning from best practices. This same thing has been done in India over the last decade.
Yeah.
They used 6 months for it. It didn't pan out well. It created shock, liquidity crisis in the economy, different kinds of negative things. Can you now imagine something that failed with 6 months now being experimented, as it were, to be done within 6 weeks? It was meant to fail, it was designed to fail, and it actually failed. It is no surprise to anybody with a little right thinking mind. So I think if the CBN were to do the needful, since if you don't even know where your priorities lie, the moment 3rd of March when the Supreme Court ruled, even the president was bound. Everyone is bound by Supreme Court decisions. No matter how good intentioned the policy was. For an economist like myself, I saw him as straying from your fundamental duties of focusing on monetary policy. You went into non-monetary issues. You are talking of if we do this, it will help to stop kidnapping,
vote buying.
How does that concern you? Look at how the supply of money helps inflation, helps attainment of full employment in the economy. Not talking about vote buying and targeting politicians. People will always find a way to do whatever they needed to do. You are supposed to be an independent, even if you are a politician. He took that, even the issue of politics, to the extreme. He kind of devalued that office where you occupy. The fact that they call you governor does not mean that you are elected. You are CBN governor. You understand? So, but be that as it may, I want to believe that if we can avoid the NLC strike, so be it. But if it doesn't do the needful, then the NLC is fully justified to carry on with the threats of picketing the CBN offices nationwide. It's only human that we look at how far we have come over the last 3 months since this issue came up. People have died. Yeah. People have had mental distress. You know, I've not touched cash in the last 1 month. And not because I don't have some little amount in the bank. It's just that I couldn't bring myself to be on a queue. Each time I pass through banks and ATM points and I see the volume of queues, I look at it and the thing shakes me. You know, they will tell you, okay, we are the ones causing inflation. People are looking for foreign currency. This is not foreign currency. And this is not a loan that you are even looking for. This is your own money in the bank. Right. You want to buy stuff, you can't get access to the money. You have bought, you can't pay. Sometimes you pay, they have not seen the alert. Then you are waiting for the next 3 hours.
That is really frustrating.
No, 14 days.
For days, you will wait.
7 to 14 days, you will wait.
Sometimes you even do it twice.
Yes.
And you have to beg them twice. Even when they say the thing didn't go through, the account has been debited.
But you mentioned something earlier, talking about the strike, if it is justified. How do you mean?
Well, I think the NLC has a right. Their work is essentially protection of workers' rights. Yes. Collective bargaining and enforcement of whatever has been agreed. So I put this under the headline of trying to enforce whatever has been agreed. Constitution guarantees freedom of life, welfare. So if my mom is in her late 70s, for instance, I sent tokens to her at the end of the month for food and medicine. I did about 2 months or a month ago. She couldn't access the funds. So if I didn't have an alternative means of talking with her pharmacy, paying the pharmacy through transfer and asking the pharmacy to get the drugs to her. Imagine those who are in the village, imagine those who are pensioners. Yeah. You know, that maybe all they get at the end of the month is 20,000. Out of that 20,000, because of their frailties, they have to use 5 or 10,000 to buy drugs to stay alive, and they couldn't access that. You know the little ones that we hear about in Lasso because of the cosmopolitan nature. What about the ones we don't hear about in the villages, in the hinterland? You know, people don't get food to eat. These are the issues for me. If every death on account of this Naira redesign policy is one death too many, and there have been so many deaths connected, you've seen people run amok in the banks. It might be as little as 1,000, as little as 2,000, but your money is your money. Absolutely. People have the right to go to work. Employers have paid their workers. The workers can't access the cash. So sometimes people use 3 hours to first go to the bank, to POS, move from one place to the other. At some point, they were paying as much as 20-30% premium on accessing their own money. These are not how an economy should be run. So the CBN has his work cut out. Make this thing go away. Let people have access to their money. You can't withdraw 2.9 trillion from circulation, and you are now putting back 590 billion. It will create a shock, a systemic shock that will reverberate. And last time I checked, more than 50% of Nigerian adults live in an informal economy. So these are things you have to put together to know that you can't create that kind of shock and it will not affect. It's not your duty to tell me, okay, use one form of using my money or the other. It's my prerogative. If the online stuff is working, everybody will go along with it. But sometimes some people have had ATM and had to like cut their ATM. Why? Because ATM card rather. Because you try to do some transactions, some other people get hold of your account. So it makes them to be on edge. They want to avoid that scenario. They say, okay, I only go to bank to do my transaction. It's not plenty, but my money is my money. Let me be managing it. So now this comes and it throws everybody into a position of chaos.
So is the strike justified?
It is justified.